Hello again. You're probably exposed to English every day through books, computer games, advertisements, social media, series and films. Whether you're watching your favorite series or reading The Great Gatsby, you're constantly expanding and refining your vocabulary, even if English is your first language. But not every word can be used in every situation. The way you speak with friends wouldn't be appropriate for an academic essay. And likewise, academic language would sound a bit strange when you're chatting with your friends. We call these different styles of language different registers. In this video, we're going to think about how we can ensure that we're writing in academic register. Much of the time, you can make sure that you're using academic register by switching informal words, the kind of words we would use in everyday conversation, for more formal alternatives. For example, in an academic text, we wouldn't use words like basically, anyway, a lot, and totally. Instead of basically, you can use essentially. Anyway might be in any case. A lot would be a large amount, number, or proportion. And for totally, you may have entirely. Many commonly used phrasal verbs also have an academic equivalent. Let's look at these phrasal verbs, for example. To find out, to point out, or to turn down. In a more formal academic context, to find out can be to discover or to ascertain. To point out could be to identify or to indicate. To turn down could be to dismiss or to refuse. When using academic register, you should also avoid contractions like don't, can't, and shouldn't. Always write these out in full as do not, cannot, and should not. So what steps can we take to actively improve our academic vocabulary? Well, by far the most effective way to do this is by reading. When you read academic texts, it is usually to gain knowledge and understand the content. But there are also really useful sources of vocabulary itself. So when dealing with the different texts from your different courses, have a close look at how the author uses language to convey their ideas. Actively notice and make a note of words and phrases that appear formal and academic. And now you're thinking, how do we know when a word is considered academic? Often such words have come from Latin via French into English. For example, discover and identify have similar versions in Latin-based languages. Generally speaking, the academic words are often slightly longer than the original English words. For example, to watch has longer, more academic alternatives in to examine or to observe. And to get might be to obtain or to receive. We recommend using an online thesaurus to search for words. It is important when using an online thesaurus that you check that the new word fits correctly within the context of your writing. This is where reading, practice, and feedback come in. The more you read, the more you'll see how certain words and phrases are used correctly. The more you practice writing and get feedback on it, the more you'll see how well a reader understands you and your use of certain language. If you overuse academic words or use them in the wrong context, then your reader will find it very difficult to understand your writing. It is about finding the right balance. This can be seen in the example here. Patel says the war made a lot of Dutch people pretty poor and people had to eat tulips to stay alive. This example is in an informal style and uses colloquial phrases such as a lot of and pretty poor. However, if we fill the sentence with extremely formal language, it also makes it unnecessarily hard to read. Patel opines that the war precipitated the indigence of large swathes of the Dutch population, many of whom were compelled to ingest tulips so as not to perish. So the aim should be to use formal academic language while still maintaining clarity. Patel states that the war resulted in a large proportion of Dutch people living in poverty and consuming tulips to survive. You see the difference here? The sentence is academic, but it's not difficult for the reader to follow. It's a good balance. In addition to using your reading and an online thesaurus, there are other useful tools to help you. One is the academic word list, which you can explore to build your academic vocabulary. Another is the academic phrase bank, which includes common phrases that can help you build well-structured academic sentences. It takes a while to get to grips with learning new vocabulary, but you will build your academic language bank throughout your studies. Remember, reading is the most important element, and there are other tools you can use in combination with this. That's it for this video. See you next time.